one hand, we identify that finding information is hard, but at the same time, so the demand is large, but at the same time, not only is the demand large, the supply is also scattered and quite often hard to tap into. So it's not only difficult to actually find information, it's also difficult, anyone who has worked in this space and who has shared information, it is also difficult to share information in a manner that is streamlined and in a manner that reaches a broader audience. So there is no platform at the moment that allows you to list expertise, to let yourself, to let the internet governance community know what you know and what you work on. And there's also no platform that then can actually allow others to find you. No platform where you can share resources in a context with other resources, so that it's not your own website, but that it's actually a website that has other kind of resources as well. And there's also no platform to capture, curate, and share solutions with the internet governance community. So on the one hand, we have a large demand. On the other hand, we have a large supply, but the supply is not captured and especially not matched with the demand. And so that was the rationale and also the objective of the Net Mundial Solutions Map, was to actually start matching demand with regard to knowledge with the supply that is out there in the internet governance community. This was also recognized by the Net Mundial Roadmap, who basically said that it would be recommendable to analyze the option of creating internet governance coordination tools to perform ongoing monitoring, analysis, and information sharing functions. And so the map, the Net Mundial Solutions Map, is a direct response to implement the Net Mundial Roadmap in order to provide this tool that can enable coordination and sharing of information. And so this is the current beta version, with the emphasis on beta, and that's the reason why we're having this user workshop in order to really learn on how to improve it to a large extent. And the beta version is a product of a long iterative kind of process with the emphasis on time learning and responding. I'm not going to bore you with every single milestone here, but the important element is that at the moment we're really engaged in trying to add content to the map by engaging with the community. So this is part of our community engagement, and also to build partners and a partnership strategy that can allow us to put the map on a more sustainable and also partnership-driven kind of model, along with the need for further tech development. Some stats. At the moment, we have around 90 internet governance issues that are on the map. We have about 600, I think now it's closer to 650 actors that have been identified that are on the map. And so I urge everyone to check they are on the map. And we have about 300 resources and 200 solutions that are on the map. Key lessons, of course, was that if you build it, will they come? And of course, as everyone or anyone who has built technology knows, that's quite often a harder proposition. So it does require this community engagement and especially learning from users in order to make sure that the map really addresses the needs that are out there. But the other lesson that we've learned, and that of course we all know, is that this is a crowdsourced platform. And if we look at other crowdsourced platforms that have tried to collect and canvass information, it does take a while before it takes off. And so as you might know, Wikipedia was ultimately considered a failure. I mean, this is a slide from 2005 that indicates that Wikipedia was to a large extent a collection of sources that were best to be ignored, and so no one thought that Wikipedia would pull it up, because it takes a while for the crowd in a crowdsourced manner, and especially in a accurate and trustworthy manner to take off. And so today, we all know that Wikipedia is the 7th most visited website worldwide, and that also there are now 5 million articles on Wikipedia in English, which expresses the power of a crowdsourced platform to collect data and collect and share knowledge. Now, moving forward, we're going to pay attention on 4 key principles. One is about making sure that the map is comprehensive, and we want to do that by sourcing knowledge by tapping into your wisdom. That map is accurate by engaging with partners who are experts in certain fields and have those partners become the curators and the editors of the map. Making sure that it's up to date by engaging with other maps and initiatives that have a specific focus on time-sensitive kind of content, and be responsive by developing an agile tech development environment. As already mentioned, sourcing knowledge. Today, we're starting the campaign Are You on the Map, which is a way to make sure that everyone in the internet governance community, for instance, attending the IGF, has an opportunity to share their knowledge and also make them known to the rest. Curation by partners. We have already a set of partners that we are working with, but we are eagerly looking at more partners that could do a variety of things, including becoming a curator, like adopting an issue, and says we will make sure that this issue is not fully populated because we hope the crowd will ultimately also engage, but is accurate and will ultimately also be seen as associated with my institution. But also there are other collaboration kinds of engagements feasible. Collaboration here, we work with other maps like JIPO and the Friends of the IGF in order to make sure that we also engage with their content, so that their content is also available on the map. And so this is a mock-up of what the ultimate engagement with JIPO will be, so that we have their feeds of news also on the map. And then agile tech development, especially focusing on making the map open source. As I said, we are looking for a variety of engagements. First of all, we want to make sure that everyone puts themselves on the map, but then there are a variety of other needs and possibilities to collaborate, ranging from sharing expertise to becoming a partner to promoting the map as such. But before we go there, what I was planning on doing was to basically give you a brief scenario of how the map would work if you would have a particular kind of issue that you want to find out more, and then engage with you to also start learning about what are the kinds of uses that you might see with regard to the map. And so in this case, it's a scenario of a person who is based in Brussels, and her name is Barbara Eckert, and this is all fiction. It's just a persona that we have developed in order to develop the scenario. But the person is based at the Ministry of Justice and has been called by her minister to develop a memorandum of options with regard to online child pornography. I mean, there was a recent scandal in Belgium, and the ministry has been called upon to develop new ways to deal with online child pornography. So Barbara needs to quickly develop an insight about what exists already, who are actors that we might want to talk to as it relates to, for instance, law enforcement, or as it relates to developing tools that could rapidly, without new legislative processes, rapidly develop a new solution to the challenge of online child pornography. So Barbara has heard of this Mundial Solutions Map, and she comes to the map and ultimately sees that there are 3 ways to engage with the map to do an analysis or to find information. The first way is by a simple search, which you see at the top, where you can type in any kind of issue in order to see, or any kind of actor, to see where they are on the map. The second kind of way to engage with the map is through a taxonomy. And so the taxonomy that we developed is the most, I guess, we try to be the most user-friendly kind of taxonomy by simplifying the complex areas of internet governance according to access, code, content, trade, and trust. And then the third way to engage with the map is through a visual representation of all the nodes that might be out there. And so in this case, Barbara decides to enter the map by going into the issues. And so she assumes that online child pornography deals with the content that is being disseminated on the internet. And so she clicks on the content button, and automatically she sees that there are a variety of issues associated with content. In this case, currently 19 issues fall in the basket of content. Of those 19, she sees that online child pornography is one of the issues that is available. And so she clicks on online child pornography to first see a short description, but also to see that there are 150 kinds of connections associated with online child pornography. So before she starts scrolling down, and she can see a set of solutions. In this case, there are 30 solutions that are added to the map, ranging from cyber tip line to an international child abduction database. She sees that there are 73 actors associated with online child pornography in the map, ranging from individuals to organizations like the Australian High-Tech Crime Center. And then she also sees that there are a set of resources that are associated with the map, such as, for instance, a typology of online child pornography offending, and so on. But before she goes into the map, she wants to get an overall view of the map, and especially the connections. And so she decides to see first a graphical representation of all the nodes. And so when she clicks on graph, she sees all the connections that are available through the online child pornography. And she sees that blue is issue, so in this case, of course, it's only one issue, which is online child pornography. She also sees that every connection that has a yellow node is a solution, red are actors, and blue, light blue are resources. And so what she sees by this visualization is that there are a few nodes that are connected. So for instance, it's connected with another issue, of course, in this case, child safety online. But you also see that there are a few nodes out there that might be worthwhile exploring. For instance, in this case, it's a solution. If she clicks on that, she sees then that the anonymous peer-to-peer kind of solution has a set of nodes linked with other kind of actors. And so she decided to explore, for instance, the OECD further, and then she looks at the OECD, she reads more, and obviously sees that the OECD has been working on online child pornography in a variety of means, including, for instance, a policy that deals with protection of children online and so on. So that gives Barbara an immediate view of what is available, but she decides to not only collect information, but also to find actors. Especially, she wants to know who is a good expert that might have written on law enforcement and online child pornography. And so what she does, she goes back to the homepage, to search for online child pornography, finds that there are a set of actions and actors coming up. She can filter here according to issue, actor, solution, and resource. And she filters actor, she filters individuals, and she filters academia. And automatically there are 4 that are coming up. She looks into, for instance, David Finkelhorn, and sees that he's director of the Crimes Against Children Research Center, and notice that he has a set of connections, including one resource, which is a book chapter or a book that goes about defining child pornography, and she clicks on the link that is automatically going straight to public accessible information, so that she gives further information. So that's one kind of a use case that we are trying to optimize the map for. But what we would like to hear from you is a first reaction, perhaps some questions that you might have, and then ultimately trying to understand what are the kinds of use cases, or especially uses yourself might want to explore further, and also what would help you in your day-to-day activity, especially as it relates to the activity that might be related to seeking information. And so we have a mic. Do you have a mic there? Oh, here is the mic. All right. No. We cannot bring the mic around.
So I've already gotten locked out of my new account. So can you direct me to the help desk? It says, I'll talk to you. I've also got my snapshot is sideways, and the first thing, of course, I want to do is make it upright. So I'm now running.
So you're on a mobile device.
Yes, I'm on a mobile device. I've now found two things from logging in, which actually I think that's pretty useful to be able to find that stuff. So I'm just sharing it with you.
Please, yes. But what kind of use cases would you anticipate? Meaning, are there information needs in your daily life? Yeah.
Well, I mean, my own background is that I've been affiliated with a number of different NGOs working in internet policy and law for a long time, and so typically I large, so I want to try to find people who maybe should be in touch with one another.
Right. Great. Was another person there?
Hi, Laura Hutchison from Nominet.uk, and we provide a secretariat function for the UK IGF. So I just logged in. Connected when you first did your search, and then in order to be able to make a more dynamic search, you had to go back out and then search for the topic in the search function. I don't know, I was just missing something there. That seems slightly clunky that you couldn't refine the search from your first page where you'd clicked on the button at the top there.
Right. Great.
But overall, I think it looks really useful, and I think I could see myself using it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Pollack. I work for UNESCO, and I'm here with the European Summer School on Internet Governance. And I wanted to ask if you are planning to do, or you see it as useful to do, some kind of network analysis based on these mapping tools about what issues are connected, or what actors, and in what form the data could be available in order to facilitate that. Thanks.
Right. So that's a great question. So yes, to a large extent, one of the rationales for building the map, I always describe this as it's a effort to clearly identify what issues are already populated and what issues are to a large extent often issues. So that's one way to start using the map. Once you have, of course, a comprehensive tipping point of having content on the map. The other element is that, to a large extent, the map is also an open data initiative, right? Meaning there is at the moment no place where you can actually, from a research or analysis point of view, where you can pull in data and make some kind of a network analysis that could bring in all kinds of interesting objectives. And so that's exactly one of the purposes that is behind the map, so that you can actually pull in all the information which you can already and do some further network analysis. So the idea is that, just like open data, is that this would be the open data set, and then third parties will actually use the data set to make further analytical inferences, that would allow for additional insights that you currently cannot have. Meaning it's very hard at the moment to even do any kind of analysis because there is no data set that really is comprehensive and really connects to a large extent the actors with resources and with solutions. And so that's one rationale behind the map, is to start developing this kind of open data set for internet governance.
Maybe I'll add something. Hi everyone, my name is Leah Kaspar. I work with Global Partners Digital, and I've started working with Stefan on this through initially as a practitioner. So I work in the field of internet governance in broad terms, and with a couple of colleagues, we've been engaging in the field with a goal to advocate for human rights within internet governance, right? So we started intervening in the ITU and the WSIS review process and a number of processes, and for our own purposes, we've had trouble with the complexity of the field, and we came up with our own maps, and we came to the field with starting to map out event calendar. So we did a timeline for ourselves, and we found that was really useful, and it had a great uptake from the community. The issue that we had was that because we had really limited resources and we're doing it for our own kind of purposes, it was not scalable and it was not sustainable. And the next step that we thought it would be great doing is having something that's interactive, that's something that is online, because we had a PDF, right? And that's something that a lot of the efforts out there, they're doing mappings, they kind of get stuck on. So the previous speaker who asked was Rachel, who said about open data. I think that's so important to make any of these efforts actually contribute to whatever use you may think of. Right? If you had, because there's so many techies in the field, and there are so many people who like playing around with data, and at the moment, if you get information in a PDF format, that's not really that much that you can do with it. So one thing that I would like to see from the map is to have more events, and you can filter it out according to your interest. So let's say you're following cybersecurity discussions, and you just want to see which events are happening in cybersecurity over the next year, right? Where do you go to find that out? It's quite difficult. But a map like this could be a perfect, just an avenue, a simple tool where you can go to find that kind of information. There was someone else in the back.
Yeah, in the part of the code, I don't understand what you're doing there. All I see is downloadable JSON. That means you're going to have an API. We can connect and on the system